welcome along to the Invincible podcast with Lee Judges in the building and Mr. Julian Becker. We are here to look forward to the FA Cup game at the weekend and also to look forward to the North London derby. Two huge games coming up. And of course, you know, let's look back as well at the game the other night. I mean, guys, you all excited for our journey up to Newcastle for the second leg?
Well, I'd be more excited for the journey up than the journey back. I always find the journey back a whole lot more difficult than the journey up there.
Well, the last few times because we've lost.
The journey up is going to be difficult as well because we're 2-0 down after the first leg.
Yeah, but then do you remember a few years ago when we did the Monday night and we came back and we'd lost and our Champions League hopes had been dashed?
Yeah.
And I don't think we got back till 7, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
Yeah, it was horrendous. It just seemed so much longer coming back.
Oh, brilliant. I'm looking forward to it then.
Yeah, but it could be a really quick journey because we've won and we could turn it around. I mean, that's the thing about football is you only really appreciate it when you're on the ropes and you come back. If we'd gone up there 3-4 goals up, and then we've sort of drawn 0-0 or lost 1-0, but you've still got through. You're not as elated to be able to turn round a 2-goal deficit. That's what football's around. That's what the surprise is.
I'd rather be going up there 4-0 up, Julian, please.
Yeah, but the surprises it's what makes football so much more entertaining rather than your run-of-the-mill victories.
Well, it weren't very entertaining for us the other night because we got turned over 2-0. A shock to the system, let's be real. Arsenal haven't lost a game at home all season.
I said it was coming. I did say that.
You said it was coming, and it came. Yep. And what it highlighted that game, and I think that's what's caused so much consternation after the game with Arsenal fans, it highlighted a big, big gap that everybody has been moaning about. Not just the other night, all season, and even before the season started, the lack of a clinical, killer striker. On the Newcastle side, they had one.
They had two.
He scored the goal and made the other goal through his attacking actions. And on the other side, the contrast was our attacking players. Martinelli, clean through, pick your spot. Yeah, he picks it, the post. And Kai Havertz at the end. Anyway, you like, mate. Left, right, up, down the thing. Yep. He doesn't even head the ball. It bounces off his shoulder and bounces out. I mean, an absolute... I told you the other night, innit, if you watch that back...
I've watched it back now.
You're going to be fuming when you see it.
It's just Arsenal, it's easier to miss.
Arsenal created a lot of chances in that game. Maybe not loads and loads of clear-cut, but enough chances to not have lost that game. And that was the clear contrast. Isak on one side, Havertz and Co on the other side. Arsenal not clinical enough in the forward line. Why have we not signed a striker? And that's why...
And that's why Arsenal...
that's why all the criticism came.
And Arsenal probably won't win nothing this season because of that, unfortunately. Because, you know, you look at the Champions League, there are going to be better teams than Newcastle coming to us, and we're going to have the same problem. We had the same problem last year. I think everybody, I said it was a decent transfer window, I think, Julian, but we've all said, even though it was a decent one, we wanted that forward. We wanted that striker. We've all said that.
It wasn't a 10 out of 10, was it?
No, and if we'd have got the striker that we wanted, we probably would be going 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, We've all said it. There's not one person that's really turned around. Julian's been slated for saying, what do we really need for? But, he has actually stated that we need an attacking option. There's a difference between a forward and whatever. Even like Anthony Gordon was a total handful to what I've seen our players in the past. And the fact of the matter is, I've watched the game back. You get a little bit of a different perspective of it. We weren't that bad. I actually weren't as bad as what I thought we actually was. But at the end of the day, Newcastle deserved to win because they took their chances, and now we're really, really up against it. I don't think we've got much hope going up there, unless, and I think Lee Dixon made a very, very good point in the week when he says in football a month is a massive amount of time.
Well, I said it on the night.
Yeah. And it is because I said it on the night. Isak can be injured. Anthony Gordon could be injured.
Or they could be off form.
Or whatever.
Listen, 6 weeks ago, Newcastle, their fans were calling for Eddie Howe. Some of their fans were rumbling saying he ain't the one. Then they've been on this unbelievable run, winning game after game after
7
game.
out of 7.
But in a month's time, that can all change around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, Liverpool, the last couple of games, I'm like, bloody hell, they've gone really flat.
Yeah, they've gone flat.
So, you know, a month is a long time in football that we can have hope from that, but a month's a long time for us too.
Yeah, well, and then we've got that's what we've got to do.
And it could be positive for us. You look at the criticism that Jesus was getting because he hadn't scored for how many months? 9 months, 12 months. Hadn't put the ball in there. He gets a good goal, and then he gets 2 more, and then in the next game he gets 2 more, and then he gets another goal. And
then he gets dropped.
Yeah, rested.
Did he?
Yeah.
Semi-final. You're rested in the semi-final.
But then we've got so many big games. I mean, in 1 week, we've got Newcastle, we've got Man United, and we've got Tottenham in 3 massive games. Do you expect them all to play every game?
I don't.
So to me, that's rested.
I think he played his strongest side, what he felt was his strongest side, which is a bad thing in a way. When I look back at it now, like, you know, people go, "Oh, it's only the Carabao Cup" or whatever. Like, you can't even have that excuse because he played his strongest. I think his strongest available team.
Why didn't he bring Sterling on? Why is he bringing Zinchenko on?
Because he doesn't think, for whatever reason, that Sterling is part of his strongest setup.
No. At the end of the game, we need a goal. Why is he bringing on Zinchenko and not Sterling?
Because the other side of it is, and let's not forget, that it is only half time. So maybe he thought, well, if I go gung-ho now, Sterling maybe isn't as defensively minded, and we concede a third, it really is all over.
If we're in a January transfer window, and that window will close before, I think it's the day before we play.
No, it's February.
It closes on the 3rd.
February the 5th, isn't it?
So we've got City before that.
Yeah. If Mikel Arteta doesn't sign a striker or a forward player, a seriously good one as well, not some little up-and-coming kid, before the end of this transfer window, is that a dereliction of duty that you could even consider that if it all goes wrong this season, he should be sacked?
Well, it will go wrong. I'll tell you, I don't care what anybody says.
If he made such a big error, should he be removed?
Well,
what Arteta? I don't think it's all on Arteta. I think that
he should be beating down the door. We need a striker.
Well, I think he should be, and I think he has with his press conference today. He sort of basically said a few things that we're all thinking. I don't know. I think if Arsenal don't sign anybody in this window, and then, for instance, another one of those players gets injured, right, which could happen, we go on and not win anything, which is probably more than likely going to happen. I think the pressure on him will be unbelievable.
He has to sign
but
a forward player. I mean, sorry to cut you there, Julian. I did an interview with Dr. Andre from Oxford Natural, who used to be a doctor. He's the doctor who actually did the medical for Mikel Arteta when he joined Everton. That video will be coming out probably this weekend, so look out for that. And I did a video where I asked him about the hamstring injury that Saka's got, which is basically, as we know, he had to have surgery on it. He said, normally those sort of injuries, you're looking 4 to 6 months.
Yeah, that's exactly the information
he goes,
I
when
had.
you get them type of injuries, he goes, listen,
done.
Saka's a young guy, he's a fit guy, he could come back slightly before that, but he goes, to him, he goes, obviously he hasn't got the full details of the injury, but if it's a tear that has required surgery, because he goes, you basically got to hook it back on the hamstring and stuff like that. He goes, normally you come back stronger, but he goes 4 to 6 months. And if it's 6 months, he wouldn't even play this season. If it's 4 months, right, we won't see him probably until sometime in April. End of April, maybe May. Because remember, he only just had that surgery at the end of December. We must buy. We probably might not see Saka again for the rest of the season.
Aaron Ramsey had it done in September. Now, he's a little bit older. He still hasn't played yet. Yeah, that was in September.
And the information I had from a completely different source that's quite well connected is a couple of weeks ago, as soon as the surgery was done, that's his season done, unless they rush him back, and that would be a risk. And I don't.
You can't, like the doctor said, you can't rush back a player like Saka. He's too valuable.
You can't rush any player back.
But he said a player like Saka too valuable to rush back.
Exactly.
I don't want to give too much away. Make sure you watch that interview when it comes out. what, 4 to 6 months.
But that is one of the reasons why they might try and rush back. This is the thing about football, is that in life, if you want to build real success, you need time. But especially with football, you don't have that time. So the people that are making the decisions understand that if they don't get short-term results, they're not going to be there for the long term.
But what he said is that he's too valuable a player to rush back.
Of course he is.
Because if he broke down again, you know what I mean?
I think also with hamstrings is one of the injuries that you can never rush back, because there's always, ankle injury. You're telling me that Odegaard didn't get rushed back? Of course he did, but the ankle injuries are completely different to a hamstring. How many times you see players? On speed. Yeah, how many times you see players coming back? What's his name? Chelsea, James. He's come back 3 times now, and 3 times he's broken down with a hamstring injury, because it's a different injury. For me, I don't want to see Saka being rushed back and then being out for another 3 weeks, another 4 weeks, and whatever.
Yeah, just make sure it's
done properly.
Just give him the time off. Let him come back pre-season. You get him back fitter, stronger than he was before.
Yeah, I agree.
And that has to be the way. But to answer your question of, do I think it's a dereliction of duty? I think to not sign a forward, it almost kind of seems to have the attitude, that question, that it's that easy to go out and just buy a forward, that it's just you go shopping, let's just pick one off the shelf. There's so many complicated aspects to buying the right player. And if you are going to buy a player, for me, I'll go back to the long-term situation. Are you going to be buying a player just for the short term, which is this season?
Short term's this season.
Yeah,
this is not.
So what?
I don't think you can look on it like it's like short term, Julian. We're still in the FA Cup. We're still in the League Cup, just about.
You've got to buy
We're second in the league, and we're still in the Champions League, right? So you can't look on it like almost like short term.
Well,
this
it's
signing
if it doesn't work.
Is big, because it is a signing that can turn around your season.
Yeah,
it can spark life back into the season. Remember last year, right? Even leading up around this sort of time, we was a bit dead, Arsenal. We'd had probably a worse Christmas period than this. We'd lost games to West Ham,
but we had
Fulham. We was on a bit of a downer.
Lost to Liverpool.
The break sparked life into Arsenal. Now, there's no break this in.
No.
But one way we could spark life in is an amazing signing.
Yeah, if we can get the amazing signing, then
there's a few out there.
But then there's a difference between an amazing signing, and we all want an amazing signing that ticks every box, or just someone to pacify the fans for the short term that's, we've just spent 60 million on whoever and he never fits in, but for those few weeks they're excited because there's someone new and shiny. That's what I don't want.
This is mid-season.
Well, of course you don't want that.
We don't want that.
You want to bring a player in now. You want to bring a player in now that's going to contribute to winning us the league.
Yes.
Right. And at the end of the day, we haven't got a player in this squad that is going to do that. There's not. Right. Now don't come back at me and going, oh, Jesus or Havertz or Trossard or Martinelli, because they've all been there for 2 or 3 years and we've not done it. Right, so that is what you're up against. Look, I'm a big fan of Havertz. I'm a big fan of Jesus as footballers go, but they are not what we require to win the league. Now, I look at Liverpool and I see vulnerabilities in them, and you've got an opportunity still to be able to catch them and still win this league. I think so, because I think we've got the defence, we've got the midfield that can do it, but attack-wise we haven't, and we've got 3 weeks now, whatever, to sort it out. After February, you haven't. So you either do it now, you should have done it in the summer, you didn't, right? Okay, that's fair enough. If you don't do it now in this window, when are you going to do it? In the next window? When the opportunity of winning the league is gone. So it's very, very important. I know what Julian's saying, it's going to be difficult.
But if he's there, what I'm saying is, if that player that you want is available, then I would absolutely want them to go and get him.
You don't always get your first choice. So I'm saying, they need to identify multiple targets, and if your first choice target is not available, we've all heard like lots of rumours that they love Isak. He ain't available. You probably wouldn't even get him in the summer, right? Because they ain't going to want him to go, right?
Can't afford him. He's
so then look at others,
and they don't want to sell him.
Who else is out there? Who else is out there that can come in and make a real impact into this team.
And I absolutely agree with that if your first choice isn't available, you do need to have multiple choices. But what I don't want to see is them just signing a player they don't really want, doesn't fit the system, just to pacify fans that we've gone out and done something.
No, I get that, but we've done it with a goalkeeper. Arsenal done it with a goalkeeper, right? Let's get this straight, right? 2 years ago, they wanted Raya, couldn't get Raya, so they went and got Ramsdale. When Raya became available, they got him. So what I'm saying is, get the striker in now. If it is Isak or it's someone else, like, then in a year's time, 6 months' time, do what you've done with Ramsdale. You know what I mean? Like, ruthless as it is, but it is what it is. But Arsenal need someone now. Arsenal, I hear what Julian's saying. It's not about pacifying. This isn't. We haven't got anybody, right? Wanyeri's out till February, right? We've got Saka. We're saying is out for the whole season, right? One more injury, and we haven't got anybody sitting on the bench. We also, by the way, let a young kid go at the beginning of the season to Man United, who could have come in at the
Sunset. We didn't let him go as such.
Well, I don't know. They did, Julian, because they didn't want to pay the money. Sometimes along the line, you have to pay. And I'm not saying I agree with that one, by the way. Yeah. I'm saying that, but there's going to be a time now. A player, whoever it's going to be, like I don't know. Whether it's Nico Williams, whether it's whoever, they are going to be demanding top money. Why are they going to be demanding top money? Because the level of player that we need now to win us a league and take us to the step further is going to be the top player. They ain't going to come cheap.
Well, he was asked in his press conference if a forward is a priority area. And he said no. The circumstances change because we have certain injuries for some big players. So it's always a possibility, but always it's about somebody that's really going to make us much better. But forward is a priority.
But he's not going to say that, because if he comes out and says forwards is our priority, then they're going to up the price even more. That's smart.
And also what you don't realise that does is it undermines the people he's got there at the moment.
Of course it does.
And confidence and all that.
They're undermining themselves.
No, if you've got the support, the outward support of your manager, then it's going to improve your play. He's clever. The last thing he wants to do is come out and say, the players I've got aren't good enough.
Was he clever to be talking about the ball after the game?
He didn't.
What was that? What was that all about?
All right. So
I've just been to do Best of Enemies earlier on when they bought.
I suppose you're all giving a little stick.
Well, listen, they bought about 20 balls onto the set and started kicking them around at me and asked me if this one's all right. Would this one be okay? And that. Why did he say that?
All right. So the first thing is, he didn't ever come out and blame the ball for the reasons why we lost. He was asked specifically about the ball, and he gave his verdict on the ball. All he said was the ball was different, and the balls are different. There's 4 different balls for 4 different competitions.
He's making an excuse.
He didn't make an excuse. He never blamed the ball. He just said, quoted the fact that the ball is different. And when you actually think about it, in football, there's a few external factors of what makes a difference to the game. There's the pitch. There's the weather. You
don't blame any of them.
There's the referee. And there's the ball.
Rule.
And there's the ball.
It's an unwritten rule. You don't.
He never criticised.
What's his name? Ty.
He never. He never
said anything. But what he should have done, Julian, was just bat it away.
Yeah, swerve it.
Just bat it away. Just turn around and go. Yeah, they're different balls, but that's not. It's not.
There's some unwritten rules.
I understand what he was saying. You're trying to be, but sometimes in life, don't open yourself up for criticism.
There's some unwritten rules in football. You don't blame the weather. Ask Ty. You don't blame the ball. When it's raining hard, you don't put an umbrella up like what Steve McLaren famously did. Yeah,
even
if you notice a lot of
I've seen them all get sucked now, all the players.
Yeah, I was watching a game the last week, right? It was absolutely pelting it down with sleet. I think it was the United game.
Yeah,
United Liverpool. Both managers, right? No hoods up. When you looked at all their assistants and that, they all like this.
Do you know?
They all had hoods up. They were like this, right? Right. But Arne Slot with his bald head. No hood, and Amarin, no hood, no hat. Because they know they're going to get mocked.
Yeah, every manager will regrets that Steve McLaren thing. If Steve McLaren would have won that day, every manager would have been
an umbrella.
acceptable to have an umbrella.
Because it's the facade of what's good PR.
So why do you answer it then? Why do you answer that question?
So maybe it was a mistake, but it has an effect. If you go back to 2010, the World Cup in South Africa, they had, I think it was Adidas with the Jubilano ball.
Yeah.
Now, Diego Forlan got that ball delivered to him 6 months before the competition. Practice. Uruguay, I think, got to the quarterfinals, and he was top goal scorer. Asked why, it's because he practiced with that ball. It did make a difference.
Julian, what happens is...
Was Isak kicking a different ball to Havertz?
No.
Julian, what happens is... they come out on the Monday for training. They don't train with the Premier League balls. They will be training with those balls.
And he did train with that ball.
Excuses.
But he never used it as an excuse.
I know he hasn't, but what he could have turned around and said, in hindsight, he could have turned around and said, well, we played with those balls against Crystal Palace, we won 3-0. You know what I mean?
But he never blamed the ball.
No, he never blamed the ball.
The balls are different.
And they've tried to trap him again in this press conference, and he did bat it away. So he's learned. He is still a young manager, and he never, ever made the excuse, but it can have an effect.
The other day he said about the Community Shield trophies. Right.
Yeah, he has said a couple of silly things.
Listen, he's got to just be a bit careful in his...
I think he's under a little bit of pressure, Rob. I think, listen...
And they're looking to trip him up. That's what the press do.
And at the end of the day, we all say things that we shouldn't say.
He's been doing in press conferences for 5 years now.
Yeah, he has. But
it wasn't the worst mistake. He didn't come out and criticise. He never used it as an excuse.
Go and speak to a load of Arsenal fans. They're getting mocked.
No, because
they'll always jump on something.
You always want to jump on something, particularly with... Listen, I think Arteta's got to realise, right, that not everybody loves him. Not everybody wants him to do well, including Arsenal fans. Do not want him to do well, which is ridiculous, right? But that's how it is. So remember that. So when they ask these questions, just be a little bit more cleverer in the way you answer it.
And he's learned, because he was this press conference.
And I think at the end of the day, the trophies were... Listen, the one about the trophies, he was joking. He was joking, but it's been taken like, oh, look, get onto the thing. You cannot... Sometimes in life, you cannot joke. You know what I mean?
You should be able to. I don't care.
But you should be able... But in this world now, you can't, Julian.
And maybe he doesn't care, and I don't care, and people shouldn't care about criticism that's invalid. That's invalid.
This is where you get on my nerves a little bit, Julian, right? Because there's people out there like now Tottenham fans digging at Robbie and everything like that. Now, at the end of the day, you don't care, but a lot of Arsenal fans do care about being taken a mickey out of on whatever. And at the end of it, he has put himself up for that now, like, you know what I mean? I've had people going, you know what I mean? I went 6-a-side yesterday, like, and the Spurs fans going, I'll change the ball. It's a bit, you know what I mean? Like, and all that, like, you know.
And we've spoken about this, you and I. You need to become a little less sensitive.
No, but there's everybody's out there.
You don't need to worry.
Listen, I'll say this now, I'm a big admirer of you for the way that you, like, you know, everybody slags you off and you don't bother it.
Not everyone.
Well, most people, you know what I mean? I'll give you that. No, in comments, and you're very, very positive about it.
He's got used to it.
Yeah, I don't know if he's got used to it. He's very... I've always said that's a big thing with him. He doesn't bother. If someone calls him this and that, he doesn't care.
No, it's just
but
words.
A lot of people do.
But that's the thing is, I think maybe it's the time when we all grew up, is that we came out, I know it's changed, but what was it that saying, sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never hurt me.
I'll say something off the camera when we're finished about a certain player that you've got a grievance with because of sticks and stones, but because it's something that's close to you and affects you. And I think that with Arsenal, you have to understand people it is like a religion with a lot of Arsenal fans.
But it is a religion. It is a religion for football, and I understand that. But the most important thing isn't about Arteta being misquoted. It's about Arsenal winning. And that is the biggest thing. And ultimately, the only reason the only reason they've jumped on this is because we lost.
100%, dead right. And they never asked about the balls when we beat Crystal Palace. And they wouldn't have asked about the ball if we'd have beaten Newcastle. I get that. And that's where he's just got to learn from it. It's
just something that when your team loses, they will jump on something. And if Man United, hopefully, and Spurs lose this week, I'll be jumping on absolutely everything I can to have a go at them.
Well, two big games. Win those two games. I didn't think people would be talking about a Newcastle game and be like, these are massive games.
I'd rather lose
FA
to
Cup.
Newcastle than win these next 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, FA
100%.
Cup against Manchester United. They're the FA Cup holders, remember. They're going to come. They're going to play a very strong team as well, I think. They're confident after, their display against Liverpool, which, by the way, Manchester United fans, I had to remind about 3-4 of them this week. He didn't actually win that game. It was a draw.
Right.
Because the way they've been talking.
It's been waiting for a week for this, Rob. I tell you,
It's the way they've been talking.
Is this when you said no chance?
I thought they had no chance, I did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought they had no chance.
And what did I say?
You said
There's
they had a
always
chance,
a-
but
there's always a chance.
you said you thought they could win.
I thought
No,
they-
he said-
no,
he did say
I, no, I,
he could
I
draw
said
as
I said it. I could see a draw, and you said no chance.
No, I felt I hold my hands up.
All right.
They absolutely shocked me.
Ooh, that's a first.
I thought they had, along with probably 95%.
He texts me Sunday morning, like, as soon as I go,
So
Sunday
excited,
afternoon,
yeah.
like, as soon as I go, I can't wait to get a
Yeah,
Robbie
well, you know what I mean.
Lowe,
When you
like,
get one right out of every 100, you know
No,
what I
I
mean.
get a
I
lot
can
right,
understand
and
it.
you
It's
get
a
a
bit
lot
like
wrong.
it's a bit like Ty the other day, right? You know Ty, right? After every game, literally every time Arsenal are playing, and you say to him, "What's your prediction for the game?" He goes 2-0.
2-0, yeah.
Every game he goes 2-0. So there was a game a few weeks ago. What was the game? We won 2-0. What was the game again? But we won it 2-0. He comes in on the Monday when we're doing the Bias Premier League show. Even before the show started, I know he's got this big smile. I go, "What's up?" He goes, "You're gonna fight." Later on, when we're doing the recap of the score, he goes, "And what did I say the score was going to be?" Right? I said, "Yeah, you said it was going to be 2-0, right?" This week, Monday now, right? I said to him, "What did you say the score was going to be last week?" He said 2-0. I go, "What, to Newcastle?" He goes, "No, Arsenal." I go, "Oh, you're not laughing." "What did you say the score was going to be the week before that?" When we played Brighton. 2-0. What was the score? 1-1. "What did you say it was going to be before that when we played Ipswich?" 2-0. It was 1-0. So you got one right out of thing. You come jumping in here for, what about all those others? So listen, me and 95% of the population thought that United were going to get
But it's
smashed.
the fact you
And
said,
as a matter of
but
fact,
you said no chance. And then
I thought there was no
and then you
chance.
asked me for evidence. I gave you evidence, and then you still dismissed it, laughing.
And always,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, and always a clock is wrong twice.
yeah,
Yeah.
big game.
But
Coming up.
listen, and Man
Well,
United-
they're going to be coming really confident.
Yeah.
And plus, we lost during the week. They've seen a little chink. They're thinking to themselves, we're back to our best now.
are they?
I would say back
Well,
to
that's
their,
what they think.
Well,
That's
they've
their
one
best.
result. The thing is, they've pulled out one brilliant performance, and I have to say that I
They
thought
were
that was
brilliant.
fantastic. You know what I mean?
Well,
They were
good.
fantastic.
And they won at City as well.
Yeah.
They weren't.
So
they weren't obliterated by
dangerous.
us.
They're a dangerous animal when they're day, because at the end of the day, they've got good players. The one thing that you would go against them is they've done it once against Manchester City, once against Liverpool, and a half against Arsenal. What does that tell you? They're up for big games, and
Yes, and
that's
they've
the
got another
problem
one
they've
on,
got there. The consistency isn't there, but they are up for big games. Those players are up for big games. They were up. You do not lose 3-0 at home to Bournemouth and then go to Man United, to Liverpool and get something unless you've got a different mindset and attitude. Simple as that. And that's what they've got. They will come here. And listen, I'll say it now. I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal are out of the cup come Sunday night.
It wouldn't be a massive shock.
But what do you think?
I think we'll win, but I think it'll be close.
What do you think?
No.
You think United will win?
I think United will be stronger than us. I think we will make changes. I think that we've got Tottenham at the week on the Wednesday. You're taking on your local rivals for everything now. I think that is such a massive game 3 days after this game.
I don't know if we.
Why? Do you know what? If we'd played on a Saturday, on a Saturday, I'd fancy us. I really would. I could have played it Friday night. I don't suppose we could have because of the. Well, we could have.
You could have done. There's games on
We could
Friday.
have played it Friday night.
We can't afford to rest hardly anyone.
No,
Who are we going to rest?
but might have to because players just aren't physically up to it.
I think that you can't rest any of the back four. That's going to have to stay.
Well, you're going to change.
So might be Calafiori
bring
might come
Calafiori in.
That might be one.
And you might be looking
Did
at
you play Neto in
with
goal?
a Neto. I mean, personally, I wouldn't, but I'd understand if he does.
Yeah,
'cause if you don't play him, he's never going to get. He's never going to get a game.
So I think hopefully Man United play their goalkeeper. They did it against Spurs, but they won't.
I'll play Raya.
Yeah,
United going to go strong.
Raya.
United are the holders of the cup. United see a chink. This is a big opportunity for them to beat Arsenal, keep the confidence going. I think they're going to go like literally the same team you saw last week. Arsenal, I think, will make a few changes. I'd keep Raya in goal.
All right. What you would play Calafiori instead of Gabriel, or would you risk Gabriel?
No, I play Gabriel and Saliba will play. I play Timber. I play go strong. I go with Calafiori, who I think he will because he didn't play the other night. Midfield.
There's your quote.
Maybe there might be a change in it. All right, maybe you might bring a Marino in there along with say Rice and. Sorry.
Just goading. I wasn't going to buy it.
I got a nibble.
So maybe Rice, Marino, and Odegaard, and up front, Sterling surely has to start. I mean, after what I saw the other night on the right hand side, it was non-existent. No take-ons from Trossard, no crosses. That was diabolical on that right hand side.
Havertz didn't do too much better when he went out.
Jesus down the middle, and on the left hand side, Martinelli. That's what I'd probably go with for that game.
So you wouldn't have Havertz starting?
I don't think I would, no. I think maybe I'll bring him on later on.
I think I'd... Yeah, it's
that
a tough
miss
one.
deserves a dropping.
So...
Huh?
That miss that he done
but
on...
it could happen to anyone, couldn't it?
Does it?
It was so diabolical, that miss.
I don't think it would have happened to
Isak. It was an absolutely terrible miss. The only thing I saw at the time,
I don't think a proper goal scorer misses that. It's one of those lights.
I think some of the best players in the world have missed chances.
Of course they have missed open goals,
and that was so hopeless. I thought initially the ball was spinning off the defender. There was a spin.
I'd even bet you to score that, Julian.
I would have scored.
You might have even hit the crossbar with your crossbar challenge for it. But I would back it.
It was a terrible. But you can't drop a player for one terrible moment. And no, I don't think you can.
Drop a goalkeeper for it.
No, I think even if
goalkeepers make terrible mistakes and then they're missing the next game. Remember when they dropped Onana the other day, United?
Yeah, but if you look at Seaman against Zaragoza, letting Naeem score from the halfway line.
Right at the end of the season,
last season,
but it doesn't matter. There was still a game after that against Chelsea. You weren't going to drop him for that one moment because he was a brilliant goalkeeper.
Yeah, but Havertz, I like Havertz as a footballer.
And you were applauding him a few weeks ago. Remember, he scored, got the ball bang straight in.
I'm a big fan of Havertz.
So you're not going to drop him for one terrible miss,
I didn't say it. I said he's a droppable for that miss. He's droppable. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's such a bad miss, and I don't know. If his confidence would have gone from that and whatever, I don't know.
If his confidence is that fragile, then he shouldn't be a footballer.
I don't know. Well, he went out to the right wing afterwards, so to chucked him out there. Might as well chucked him in with us. You know what I mean? Put him in right wing. I don't know. There's only one position Havertz can play, in my opinion. Now, is up front. But last season, he was brilliant.
Raheem Sterling. If he don't start on Sunday, what's the point? We may as well send him back to Chelsea.
Well, he might not be 100% fit yet. He might be
from injury, isn't he?
Might be rushing
He's on the bench.
Yeah, he might not have been fit. I don't know why they'd put him on the bench. Maybe it was a PR exercise.
Well, it didn't work, did it?
You need a goal. You're 2-0 down.
You're bringing on Zinchenko.
Come on. There's a reason why.
Yeah, it could have been exactly that they want to pacify the fans that they've at least got some squad depth. So they've stuck him on the bench, knowing full well that it was never going to come on. I'm not saying it is.
What's the point when you need him? But
it does look a bit better that you got Sterling on the. I get what you're saying there. I don't get that. Like you got Sterling on the bench, even when Sterling's on the bench, even though he ain't going to come on.
Make the tea.
Well, no, because sometimes you're not 100% fit, are you? But he's on the bench. I'm pretty sure the week before at Brighton, if things were going right, Odegaard and Martinelli would never have come on, and basically
they shouldn't have done.
You know what I mean? Hindsight's a wonderful thing. So I do agree with Julian. Sometimes you think, we ain't fit, but it's a name.
He's got to play.
It looks better than some kid we've never heard of.
Who's not going to get on either.
He's got to play against United.
Otherwise, if he's fit,
to me,
if he's fit, then yes,
he's on the bench. He's ready.
We've already said it could have been a PR exercise.
If he's on that bench, he has to start.
Well, I would start him on. I would,
if he's fit, then yes, I would agree. But if it was just a PR stunt, having him on the bench,
if he's a PR stunt, he shouldn't even be on the bench.
No, I agree. That's why it's a PR stunt. It's wrong because you're pacifying the fans that want
they
something.
don't want no pacifying. We want to see a man that comes off of the bench when we need a goal. Bring him on.
Well, it would have
worked. If he ain't fit, leave him at home.
It would have worked if they'd won the game, and then they wouldn't have needed to bring him off the bench, and no one would have batted an eyelid. Said, "Oh, at least Sterling's back."
Yeah, but he ain't back.
Would you put him against Spurs?
Who's Sterling? If he has a good game against United, of course I would. Who else is going to play there on that right-hand side? We ain't got no one. Wanyeri's out. Saka's out. As I said, Trossard played there the other night. He didn't take one player on. He didn't put one cross in. I mean, don't get me wrong. He did a brilliant pass for what led to Martinelli's. That was in, but he was sort of inside. But out wide, he did absolutely nothing. Right, that right-hand side has gone from being our strongest position in the whole forward line to now our weakest. And he plays there.
I'd play Jesus there.
He has to play.
Jesus there and Havertz in the middle.
Yeah, that's what
he has to play.
And then Martinelli on the left.
I don't understand why we... What was the point in even bringing Sterling? Now,
because we need bodies.
Bodies.
And he has...
You may as well put Julian on the bench then.
Well, no.
If we need him bodies. This is based off of the principles of what you guys are talking about.
No, but it wouldn't have been a PR stunt to have me on the bench.
Play him. I want to see the guy play. I want to see if he can do better on that right wing than what we've seen.
I'm with you on this. Is what you say about him. I'm happy for him to play against Man United, but against Tottenham, I want to see Jesus.
Yeah, but only if he's fit.
Martinelli.
You can't play. You can't start the guy if he's not fit.
You can't play him. No,
yeah. And then if he's not,
the only way to get fit is
no. But I'm talking about if you're not. No, it's not the only way to get fit. You don't want to be trying to get fit playing a 90-minute game of competitive football. You want to get fit on the training ground.
I'll tell you what.
He's had days on the training ground now.
I'll tell you what. I know we need to see a reaction from those Arsenal players. You know what I mean? Because that was fans were really stung by that defeat the other night. There's been a lot of criticism. Need a reaction. Next two games need a reaction.
I will say this, Robert. That I think Arteta is a bit fortunate that we got two games, Man United and Arsenal. I'm looking back at
Tottenham.
Tottenham. I'm looking back at it. Didn't seem like a semi. Talking to a couple of my mates, the atmosphere didn't seem like a
that's exactly what. Remember, I said that to you. I go, this is supposed to be a semi-final.
We didn't seem to be up for it as fans for whatever reason.
Do you know the thing is, right? And this is why I know for us, I think both semi-finals showed me that they're just playing too many games. Yeah. And it's not necessarily the League Cup's fault because it's the added games now as well with the Champions League, right, where they've had to be squeezed this in right at the start of, because this don't normally happen, does it?
Yeah,
you have a game first week in January. Both games. I watched the game the night after Tottenham versus Liverpool. That didn't seem like a semi-final either.
No.
It was so flat. The atmosphere in that stage packed, just like the Emirates was packed. Fair play to Newcastle, they did make a load of noise, but even the Liverpool fans were quiet.
Because it wasn't that important.
It didn't seem... I just think it was just like, you've had so much games over the Christmas period, then you got a semi-final. It didn't seem like a semi.
It's too much football, and if something's got to give, it should be the League Cup. In my opinion, any teams that are in European competition shouldn't then enter the League Cup, which I know is going to devalue it, but for me it's not that important anyway. It would be a waste of time.
Who'd be left in it?
But then what you could have, what do they have in the lower leagues? That football league trophy.
Waste of time.
But
I think
it gives
one
teams,
game,
but it also gives a team a chance to win it when the big teams aren't in it.
I said this before.
Too much football.
We're criticised for it. I'll say it again because I think this is what's going to happen to this competition. That in a few years' time, maybe not straight away, a few years' time, get 3-4 years, League Cup, semi-final and final will be played in another country. Like what they're doing with a Super Cup in Italy. They played that the other day, Inter Milan played AC Milan in Saudi. And the Spanish one, that's been played in Saudi as well, isn't it?
Yeah, right? I see that.
And I can see that happening to this. I think somebody said it's something like some huge amount of money they got for winning that. Yeah. Obviously, Saudi. Yeah. That would be the thing that might rejuvenate the competition because the way it's going.
I also think you can't have this two-leg thing and all like that. It's just ridiculous, you know what I mean? Oh, Arsenal got stuffed 2-0, right? And completely done, right?
They're not completely done.
No, hear what I'm saying, right? We've been completely done in that game. Yeah. And it's only half time. Like, you know what I mean? Spurs and Liverpool gone at it for 90 minutes. Ow, it's still half time. you do really want that in the semi-final. You want to get it done.
Yeah, I think. Listen, it's not a big enough competition for it to be 2 legs. No.
Yeah, even in the FA Cup, it's one. Yeah. There is an excitement about. Well, it was back in the day when it was like neutral ground, but there was an excitement about a semi-final.
I think with this, but we discussed this the other night, and I was saying that I think the reason why it's over 2 legs is to make a load of extra money for that competition.
It's always been 2 legs, though, isn't it? That semi-final.
Well, we've tried and work it out. I still don't know when it was.
Because if it's the reason for money, they'd have made the FA Cup over 2 legs in the semi-final. I just think it's tradition, and it's a tradition that absolutely needs to end now because football's progressed. And for
especially
me,
when you've got those 2 Champions League games in January.
You've got the 2 extra Champions League games. I would say any team. I know it will totally kill the competition, but any teams that qualify for Europe shouldn't go in
that route.
Arsenal. So Arsenal, Liverpool, this month, game every few days, right from the start to the end of the month.
Yeah,
it's too much. But you want to be in all competitions. We're in all competitions, but as I said, we've got to bounce back. So FA Cup this weekend. You know what I mean? Manchester United. Then the North London derby on the Wednesday, which you want that game on a weekend. Why are they putting it on a Wednesday as well?
I think our biggest 2 games, I think, of the season are always Tottenham and Man United, like biggest rivals. You know what I mean? Like, blah blah blah. Both games have been midweek this year at home. I think last year, I've never known the Spurs league game. Have you?
Yeah, it has. Do you remember the one where it was 4-4 and they scored 2 goals in injury time? That was on. That was
a league
on
game.
Yeah, that was a league game. That was on a weekday night.
It was a Tuesday night.
Because half of them had left, didn't they?
Yeah.
Big game.
So that's probably the last time,
Big game. Spurs still got a lot of injuries, but they did, with those injuries, win that game. That Bergvall second yellow was unbelievable. That the referee,
no choice. The referee, when Declan Rice kicked it 3 yards, VAR said you got no choice. Got no choice. And Mr. Webb, we had no choice, but we had to send him off. These
referees are dreadful.
Would he have missed the Arsenal game? Had he been sent off, or would he have missed the FA Cup game?
Bergvall.
Yeah. It would have been 2 yellows, wouldn't it?
So we missed the FA Cup game. Yeah.
Honestly,
you can't make it up.
That's not a second yellow. And then the worst thing about that, right, is that I don't know if you saw, it's like almost like double jeopardy.
Yeah, he's actually
because
Tsimikas,
who got injured, had to come off the pitch.
And they scored in that time.
Right, and then they scored in that time. The same guy who took him out, absolutely scythed him down. Right, he has to, and it's in his position that the ball's played into that left-hand channel.
So they're down 10 men,
and then they booked the Liverpool bench, didn't they?
For complaining.
Well,
honestly,
it's scandalous. And what amazes me about it, and listen, it's not just Arsenal; it's all round, right? Is that they get this? VAR can't get involved. Well, they got involved with Declan Rice because we heard it talking about it, when he kicked the ball away.
And then the other thing, right?
I don't think they did get involved because it was a second yellow, wasn't it?
They were talking to him. They've even said it, if you go back to it.
It could have been the linesman talking to him.
No, it was a fourth.
You tell me how comes they release recordings for some things, but they don't release them for others.
And also, come on, I thought I was watching the Washington Commandos versus Dallas Cowboys when they started, the referee gets on the thing like that. And 10-yard foul going down there. Wow, come on.
That was good. I like that.
But the thing is about that as well,
we didn't have that at Arsenal.
The thing about that as well is that we already knew watching the TV. You knew
it's for the fans.
Yeah, but you knew about 3 minutes before. It should be at the same time.
Yeah.
So about 3 minutes before, he
that's what it is
for
the paying fan. It's funny because when you do go to games, you don't know what's going on.
No, you get text before it gets announced.
Before it's announced, people are saying it's a goal before you even. It is so wrong. It's so wrong that you're actually at the game and there's people watching it on telly telling you it's a sending. He's been sent off, or it's this.
I don't mind the announcement thing, but it should be done at the same time as what everybody else on the TV got it. Not everyone on the TV's got it, and a couple of minutes later you're like, no goal. Shut up.
I'll say another thing. Please, with these 2 games coming up, please sing the song before the game kicks off. Please get rid of that.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Please
remember at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Please get rid of it, and please get rid of the announcing. You know what I mean?
I thought you like that guy. met him in
He's
the
a
pub,
top
didn't
guy,
we?
but like, he's being told to do things. But I don't. Bukayo, get on with it, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't stand that.
But I have to say,
You're moaning at you.
but in their,
Bukayo, I don't want all that.
but in their defence, they played good old Arsenal
They
the other
do.
night when they came out. So
Yeah.
I like that. And the other thing I'd like them to bring back is Sweet Caroline at the end when they win. That's my preference.
But
Be like being in Pop World.
they have started the game kicks off. and they're still singing.
Teams have nearly scored twice.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, 'cause
They're all listening to they're all singing along, the players.
The players are singing along. You know what I mean? I see like David Raya going like
They've done
that.
that because they have sort of changed that, innit? Like,
It's getting more American, isn't it?
Just get rid of it. Before
doesn't
the
work.
game, it doesn't work. You know what I mean? The game's going on, like,
Yeah,
you know
we
what I mean?
wanna watch the game, we don't wanna sing songs.
I don't want to be singing a song like that.
Mind you, as I said to you the other night, they do it at Anfield.
Yeah.
So
So what, that makes it right?
Yeah.
No, but I was saying it would have kicked off, and they'll still be singing "You Never Walk Alone." They dropped the music by that time, and the ball's kicked off and that, and they're still singing it.
No,
And then
well,
you get a
that's
roar.
up to them.
that's up with them. I don't like it.
No, I don't like it.
You know what I mean?
Miserable, you like it.
And you didn't like it either the other night.
Listen, I don't
Well,
mind it.
Joe Linton went through went over the bar, like, you know what I mean? I
Who
don't finish
nearly
singing.
scored? It was Ipswich nearly scored.
Ipswich
didn't they?
scored as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're all
Like,
singing
they're
and
all
the
singing
other
like,
team's scoring.
Yeah. Get rid.
You know what? You can play it all night long. Just get me a striker. Get a striker. I don't care what say. You can sing it at a half hour before or in the middle of the game. Just get a striker.
Do you think we will? You know, you're doing your.
I think we will.
You're doing your bits on. I've seen one fantastic job you do.
I was told the other day that we're going to get.
It's the most frustrating thing I've ever watched, but like, you know, because. Do you think? You know, you're an expert.
I think we're going to make signing. I was told the other day we're going to get a forward player. Definitely. That's what I was told.
Yeah, but who?
Huh?
Who? Anyone get a
Well,
forward
they ain't going to
player?
tell me who, are they?
Well, then that's not
Right,
really
They're
because
working on one. Is that what you're
the
saying?
person who told me, he doesn't know who,
right.
and he wouldn't know who. But I know that he knows stuff.
Well, he obviously doesn't know that
So-
much. He doesn't know who.
Yeah, he said
And
they're
what-
going to. He didn't say he knows who. He said they're going to get a forward player.
But that's obvious because it's an obvious
It's not
position they've
obvious
got to
because
fill.
he's not obvious because they should have got it in the summer and they didn't get it.
Well, they got Sterling.
Right. So
someone.
So he's not obvious.
Yeah.
Right.
It all depends
It's obvious
who.
to everybody. It seems apart from Mikel. We have to get it.
I think he
knows,
I
but
think-
he's what he wants because Mikel is a long-term thinker and he's got our interests at heart long-term.
but he's a long-term
and he doesn't
includes-
want to just put.
Well, I'm sorry,
Long-term
Julian. Long-term
includes
may
this season.
cost him because
We're
It
halfway
might
through the
do.
season.
I agree.
Nobody right now, no Arsenal fan, go out there and survey if you're interested in next season right now.
No,
They're
'cause that
interested
is fans.
in what are you going to win.
Fans' mentality. Absolutely.
And there's nothing wrong with this.
That's just
Fans
the way
having
it
this
is,
because
not wrong
what
or
you're
right.
going to
That's
win,
how it is.
what you're going to win this season. We're halfway through.
Yeah.
We're not like 5 games
I'm not
to go.
saying it's wrong.
We're halfway through. Go and get a forward player, preferably a striker.
you got to go and get. You got to go and
Yes,
get the
but-
tools.
And if you've got to pay extra money, Julian, you pay it.
I'm not talking about a bit of extra money, but one thing I don't want them to do is do something that's going to jeopardise the long-term future of the team. They're going to stop them actually going out. And
If they don't win anything this season, it's going to jeopardise it. Well, because the plans are going to be right on the manager.
It'll be jeopardising his
He's going
job.
to be under a lot more pressure.
He's jeopardising his job, which shows how much he cares about the club, that he's willing to jeopardise his own job for. And this is where I had an issue with Wenger, because Wenger
did the same thing.
No, actually, at the end, I think he did something which was a millstone around Arsenal's neck for years after, when he was just trying to pacify the fans to keep his own job, which was the contract that he gave to Ozil. And he was just because he couldn't have Ozil and Sanchez leave in the same window.
No, but what he used to do, what I never used to like, right, which is what I've seen similarities to right now, is we always used to say, go and get a great defensive midfielder, solid rock. Vieira, we're missing that Vieira type player, Gilberto type player in the middle of the park. Go and get that player. We can win the league. Didn't get it. Then the next season, go and get that. Wouldn't get it. And what happened? Never won the league. Never won the league. Never. We need a striker. It was highlighted for everybody to see the other night because you saw the contrast. One team with a killer.
I think it was highlighted.
Yeah.
The other team without a killer. Chances come, easy chances flop.
If we get the striker this season, right, just say we go and get a striker and it doesn't quite work, we don't quite get there, right, I know I'll be a little bit more forgiving. I don't know about everybody else, but
so would I.
I'm telling you this now, if we don't get anything and we don't win the league and we don't win this and that, and Arteta starts the season off like he has done this season, for me, that's him, done. And I don't want that. He's got the opportunity
so who have you
now.
got in mind? Who would you like?
What?
For him to sign, if he could sign someone realistic.
What in this window now?
Yeah,
I would go for Duran at Aston Villa.
Yeah, I think that's good.
I've always said that one, like, you know. I would bring it. Do you know what? I'd buy Duran and I'd get Rashford on loan. I would do that because
I think if they could get him on
that
loan,
would be like.
so it's not a big commitment, is it?
No,
and it's not going to jeopardise anything going forward.
And I think like someone like when people go, I don't want Rashford.
There's rumours they made an inquiry about.
I don't want Rashford. I'd rather have Rashford than nothing. I'm talking about as cover and what we need. I'm not 100%. You know, when you're going about this Coquerez at Sporting,
that's who
we'd have to change our whole style of play.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more.
What style? What
but
style?
We've got a style, and he plays a certain style. And
he plays a centre forward down the middle. Right, which is another thing that annoys me when I'm watching Arsenal and I look in the middle of the box, there's nobody there. If you get a centre forward, I want a centre forward that plays in the middle of the park, right? That's not going to change up our style of play much. Get someone there, so when those crosses are coming in, when passes are coming in, they're on the end of it. Victor Gyökeres has got a release clause. Listen, he may want to stay at Sporting till the end of the season. But why don't Arsenal go in there and say, here, bang, on the table? Because right now, that guy, 62 goals he scored last year, more than any other player in world football, right? In a calendar year, right? He's the number one striker for Sweden, not Isak. He is.
Yeah.
He got that release clause. Activate that, man. Well, you may have to pay over the odds. Activate it and let's see what happens. Let him turn it down and say, actually, no, I want to stay here. Get serious with his striking position, because I believe a player like that could come in and give that spark to the team that could really turn around our fortunes. Yeah,
I do think that as well.
Especially with no Saka.
I don't care what, you know, Julian can come in on this. Like, you see it on shoes. There wasn't much between the two teams, but the difference was their two strikers to ours. You know,
it was a finishing, the final bit of putting the ball in there. Actually, in every other stat, we were significantly better, but the most important stat the two stats of conceding and scoring, we were worse.
And those are the games, particularly at home when you're in Champions League.
It was the same with Aston Villa last season, wasn't it?
That is the same sort of fact, yeah. So, and it's not been rectified, and that it will happen again. Yeah. I'm telling you this
and again.
It's going to happen at Man United.
Even with any forward, when you look at Haaland, Haaland's been missing. You know, he doesn't score every goal. I know he's a brilliant striker, but even he can miss.
Of course, you're going to miss chances, Jim.
That's why I'm not going to blame Havertz and say that it's dropped.
Chances are
the ratio of misses for that's the other thing.
Those big key
you know
games.
the thing is right. You know the thing is right is that when Martinelli was through the other day, was you thinking he's definitely going to score?
I thought he was going to score. And I thought he was brilliant play up to that point.
Did you think? Be honest now. Was you thinking to yourself?
I did think he did score.
Do you think to yourself?
But I weren't surprised.
Let me just sort of say it like this: when any time he's through 1-on-1, are you thinking 90% sure he'll score?
I'm convinced. When I see him,
that's because
I'm more convinced with Martinelli.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Martinelli in that position than anybody else.
Yeah, because I keep thinking back to that Chelsea goal he scored.
What's the percentage of it? Like, if he's 1-on-1 with a keeper, what's your? Let me sort of try and think. Like, what would be your percentage where you think? Percentage amount of times that you think, he's definitely going to score.
Yeah, but I'm not thinking like that, because when he's through, I get all excited. So I'm not thinking
that's
statistics.
the difference when you've got a top striker. When Thierry Henry used to be through 1-on-1, it's not that he can't miss them, because he missed one in the Champions League final.
Yeah, he did.
But when he was through,
90%, you're in the
5% of the times you're just like, goal.
But he was probably
when Haaland's through, 95% of the times you're thinking goal. Same with certain players, but then there's other players you're like, 60%. Jesus, you'd be like 60%. Come on, you should score that, but you're not certain at all. I want that killer like an Isak, because that is Isak the other night. It's a goal. He might have a 5% times when he'll miss it, because all strikers, like you said, miss 5% of the times. 95% of it, he's burying.
It was a tougher chance than you'd give it credit for, because
which one?
Yeah, the Martinelli one.
It wasn't a tough chance
because
he made it
run. He's had to run half the length of the pitch.
He's in front of everybody. Julian, he's in front of everybody. He's got the run on. He's got the run on the two defenders. Dan Burn, right? What he should have done.
Well, even though she should have carried on.
What he should have done, he should have had the composure to just say, keep going. When the keeper gets near to him, you pick your spot.
Yeah.
But what he did, he panicked and just went early.
I wouldn't say panicked, but I thought
he panicked.
It was very close to.
I'll go back to a thing where
no composure.
I'll go back to a thing. If Martinelli would have scored earlier in that game, he would have scored that goal. He would have just carried on running.
He's missed a few like that.
Just did in that Crystal Palace game. You know, you knew he was going to score when he went 1-on-1. It was that just. I just think he's not at his confident best. He's
had a few like that this season.
He has.
Remember the game against Bournemouth, where the keeper just passed it to him.
They showed on Sky
and
the
again,
other day.
He did no composure, just passed it back to him.
No composure. That wasn't an. That was no composure. That was not an awful miss. He hit the post. It was an excellent run.
What I'm saying is the lack of composure.
Kick it into the clock.
The lack of composure is that he panicked. He said, "Let me just get a shot off."
Yeah, he rushed it.
And he rushed the shot.
He gashed it a little bit.
And he went for the harder thing. That if he would have just kept going, any top striker would have just kept going, kept his composure, and picked his spot.
Yeah,
remember that goal the other day that Raul Jimenez scored against Arsenal, where he come closer, as Raya made his move, bang, slide it right across it.
They were showing on Sky,
and that was a harder chance.
His goals 2 seasons ago, when Arsenal played in the black kit. Yeah. They showed. I think about 15, 17 goals. They showed a few of his bang, clinical.
It comes down to what you brought up a few weeks ago. What did you say? That inches do make a difference. I actually prefer Wenger's quote that millimetres. Life is about millimetres. I can relate to that one a little bit better because it was obviously Wenger.
But you deal in millimetres,
and you deal in inches. If that's what you want to say. Right, let's get back to Martinelli. Right, so the point. Right, the point I'm going to make. Should we cut that bit out?
No, you cutting out nothing, mate. I'm staying in.
Right, let's get some composure, just like Martinelli. If it had been a few inches to the left, you wouldn't be criticising him, would you? You'd say he had composure. Literally, it was that close.
But he weren't.
Okay,
that's the thing.
It's just a small margin.
No, you can't say that,
Go
Julian.
on, Gabby. I heard that
Julian,
as well.
you can't say that.
If it gone miles wide or miles over, I get that.
But he's got, I seriously, he's got to score it though.
A top striker, when you're 1-on-1, you're expected to score.
Eyes light up. I'm rolling this in like.
When you're a top striker, you're expected in a 1-on-1 situation to score. Am I lying?
Yeah. I don't disagree. But as you quite rightly pointed out, even Henry missed when it became crucial. If he'd scored that goal in Champions League final,
but what I'm saying is the ratio of those misses are small. Small. 95%. Henry's running through. I'm going like this goal.
Yeah.
And if I open my eyes and he ain't scored it, I'm shocked.
There's a great thing, and many a times, and Paul Merson will tell you this. If you watch back at when Ian Wright was going through on 1-on-1, Paul Merson was had his arms up already. They know that he'd scored.
You ain't doing that with none of us.
You ain't doing that with none of our
forward players. You ain't put your hands up at all.
No,
you ain't.
I'll tell you that. Let's get, because we're finishing the show now, predictions for the 2 games. Manchester United visiting Arsenal. Julian.
I think it'd be a draw. It goes to extra time, does it?
Yeah.
This one?
Extra time,
and then penalties. I think it'd be a draw after 90 minutes and we'll nick it in extra time.
Okay. You said a loss.
I do think that we'll lose, but I can't go against the Arsenal. You know what I mean?
You just said you think we're going to lose. You have gone against the Arsenal.
I think they'll lose 2-0. I think that.
I don't. I think I'm going to see a reaction from Arsenal. I think Manchester United are despite their great performance last week, they're not as good defensively as Newcastle. They still have a problem defending set pieces, to which, you know,
Oh, that's a
Newcastle
good
did
point.
again. And I think we'll win. I don't think it'd be pretty. I think, you know, but I think I'm going to go 2-1. Arsenal Spurs.
I think you might think I'm silly here, but I think we're smashing. And the reason we will is because there'll be Gunno.
Yeah, he won't defend.
And if they do play like that, I ain't got a problem then. The problem I've got with Man United is they're sitting like Newcastle did, and I've got players that can hit us. But Tottenham sit in, they've got players that can hit us on the break.
And they've got massive injuries as well.
But they go. So I'm saying 3-0 with the Arsenal.
Yeah, I can see us winning that one quite easily, other than the fact that it's North London derby,
Yeah.
and you expect it to be close.
Yeah, I'm going 3-1 in that game. So those are my predictions. Listen in. All we need to do is get 2 victories in the next 2 games. These are massive games. These are games that could turn around the fortunes of Arsenal. I mean, it's all been doom and gloom. We are still second in the league. We are still got a second leg to play in that League Cup. We are still in the FA Cup. We are still in the Champions League. But these are critical games coming up that will really, you know, change the mood of what's going on around Arsenal. And if we could then get a couple of wins and go out in that transfer window and be positive, the whole season could look really different.
100%. I think these 2 games do.
Well, we've reached the end of the show today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I want to thank Lee, thank Julian, thank to you guys as well. Of course, 2 massive games coming up. Arsenal taking on Manchester United, and Arsenal taking on Tottenham in the North London derby. Hopefully we can get 2 big wins in those games and go and sign a forward player, Mikel Arteta. And if we can do that, the whole mood will change. So please, the players, the manager, go and do it. Thanks once again to you guys. Thanks to you guys, and we'll see you next week. The Invincible podcast. Myself, Robbie, and Lee Judges come together once a week to discuss all things Arsenal. Straight talking, considered discussion, brought to you by the fans of the only club in Football League history to go invincible.